Okay, so let's talk about the whole way people are reacting to the Castorice global passive. And first, let me and Lane get this out of the way. We're both against it. We wish it didn't exist, and that's basically as far as it goes. Some people may call us hypocrites for being against the global passive and still pulling for the characters, but neither of us have ever once said, "Oh yeah, we dislike this. You shouldn't pull for the character." We've never said that. If anything, we encourage people to make their own choices when it comes to that. But I want to have a interesting discussion because a lot of people in the Hoyoverse community seem to think it's the morally right thing to not pull for Castorice, to send a message to Hoyoverse that, we don't want global passives. And Lane, what's your thoughts on the whole morality thing?
I so fucking stupid. Like
Let it
judging
out.
someone's judging someone's morality like that. There is a lot of people who think that if you're not like 100% into a movement, that you're somehow that essentially means that you have zero that you're against everyone about it, and it's the same here. Like, yes, we do care about the fact that a global passive exists. Now, the contents of that global passive may just be, a bit of shit. Because let's face it, when's the last time we've like actually died, Don?
Well, I mean, the newer bosses, they do punish you if your DPS isn't strong enough, so there is that. I will give a little bit towards that, but yeah. We don't die very often, but then again, you and I are both, would you classify us as dolphin spenders? Because we're not whales.
Yeah. Uh, but point being, it's like, yeah, we're upset that we understand that the implications of a global passive, if this keeps going forward, are going to be bad.
Very, very much so. But we also understand one huge thing. Nothing we do is gonna fucking change it, okay?
Pretty much. I mean, literally, the moment we've already knew, like leaks wise, that we were going to have this passive, and people were already calling for it, like to get changed.
Yeah. Like, and honestly, that is the worst part, and I think both of us agree. Hoyoverse absolutely deserves to get shit on for still having the global passive, even after all the backlash. Like, that is a horrible PR move for the company.
Exactly. Like they already knew like they were going to get a bunch of backlash for this. They've probably been getting a bunch of backlash for this, and yet even up until the special program, we were just begging, okay, let them have changed something about it. Let them have like understand that this is not going to be a good idea. And then they just skate by it,
That's what makes it
saying, "Oh
worse.
yeah,
That's honestly
yeah,
what makes it even worse. Is they know they can clearly, we could clearly see they're just like, all right, we're gonna try to be smooth about that. No, you weren't smooth. Everyone could see through what you were doing, and it just destroyed the good faith people have in HSR's dev team. And honestly, do we want to talk about the morality thing, or do we next want to talk about how Hoyoverse is just losing? You know what? Let's talk about the morality thing a little more.
Yeah.
Elaine, uh, what's the genre of Honkai Star Rail again?
Turn-based RPG.
What else is it?
I gotcha.
Yes, a gotcha. Could you imagine preaching morality in the single most predatory type of game genre out there?
It actually reminded me of something I saw earlier that made me laugh. I don't know, I don't remember if you saw this or someone else posted it that probably saw it. The while this is going on, we're also dealing with the whole Switch 2 games thing. I remember seeing a post saying, "Would you spend $90 on a game?" And it was like looking at Mario Kart World. No. And then looking at all the other gotchas, they just side eye, or they just like look off to the sides like, no.
Okay, I will admit that is kind of funny, but
It's like, okay, the reason I bring that up is like you're literally preaching about morality in something where you're already sinking shit tons of money into it for fucking PNGs on a game that is completely free just so you can have more fun playing it. And you're going to preach that it is somehow morally, like morally right to to try and send a message to this company that you've already given a shit ton of money to, that you're not going to spend on this character, and let's face it, you're probably going to come back and start spending again.
honestly, the thing, you want to know what the big difference is for people, because no one ever brings this up. The big difference between, like, if you spend like $80 on, like, I don't know, Metroid Prime 4 and $80 on like a gotcha waifu, it's like, you want to know what the big difference between that is? Unless you really, and I mean really, love Metroid Prime 4.
Which I do.
You're gonna absolutely... You haven't even played the game yet, but you already know. Yeah, we already know it's gonna be great. Anyway. You're gonna spend $80 for Metroid Prime 4. And you're probably gonna beat it within maybe a week. And then... maybe it gets some DLC or not. And maybe you come back to it every few months.
Or maybe I'll do what I do.
Like a lot of other people, once you're done with the game, you don't touch it again for years.
I mean, I didn't do that with Dread. The moment I beat Dread, I'm like, okay, now I'm speedrunning this shit.
I mean, yeah, I sped run Dread as well, but at the same time, I have not played Dread since that speed run, and I am almost certain if I went back and played the game now, I probably lost 50% of my speedrun skill.
Oh, probably. I definitely need to, like, sharpen up my skills before I attempt it again.
But yeah, main point is, the reason people spend in gacha, they get far more long-term investment with, like, the character they're going to use and be with for a long time. Because if you're playing a gacha, you're most likely playing it every day. Usually. That's like the average gacha experience. But yeah. You spend that $80, you get Castorice or whatever gacha character, and they're on your account for years to come for a game you're going to be playing years to come. So, honestly, this might be a little bit of a messed up thing to say, but... okay, granted, I need to specify this. If you're spending $80 to get a gacha character, guaranteed, not gambling, but guaranteed with, like, hitting pity or such. Hey, thank you for the follow. Who is that?
That is a nice light cone.
Yeah, it is a nice light cone. Anyway, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
People are going to get a lot more investment out of the character that they are paying for.
Oh yeah, the character they're paying for. As long as it's hitting the guaranteed pity, because, it's a different story if it was something like FGO before it had a pity system. Because that is just straight up gambling at that point.
Pretty much.
But, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we really got off topic, but I actually think you get more value if you spend $80 on making your experience with a gacha game better compared to an $80 game that you're only gonna play once, and then after that probably not touch it again. Granted,
Again,
it's a little bit of an exception for a longer game.
like say,
Persona 5 or Persona 6. Like, if you buy
From-
Persona 5 or Persona 6 whenever that comes out, that $80, yeah, you're getting well over 100 hours worth.
and for me, considering my work, it's been a while to actually put like work into this, but I've been putting hours into Monster Hunter Wilds. I got over 90 hours now.
Yeah, you got your money's worth, and that's a thing we could probably make for another topic. But the whole $80 thing, or $80/$70, I personally believe you get your money's worth if the amount of hours you spend on the game is more than the dollars you paid.
Honestly, again, that is for another topic. I think if we delve into that, we'll get way off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the whole, back to the morality thing. Actually, no. Did we already discuss everything we wanted to about the morality thing?
Well, not so much, because with recent stuff that we have been seeing, people literally getting peer pressured into not pulling because of that morality.
Yeah, which I will say, the one thing I want to say off the top of my head, I've heard some people say, oh, you're a hypocrite if you say this thing is bad and you still pull for it. No, it isn't. That is not being a hypocrite. Being a hypocrite would be not only saying this thing is bad and then you telling other people don't pull for the character, but then you pull for the character. That is hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because, and you can even say, oh, this is a terrible practice. Doesn't mean you said you're not gonna still enjoy the game.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I am like. The people who are uninstalling, it's so fucking performative.
I would say there are exceptions to that.
Well, yeah, there's gonna be exceptions, but for me, the majority, I feel so performative.
I will say I feel that way if it's like free to plays and such. It's like why do you even care?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Let me take that back.
Don, that's the thing. I'm not talking about the free to plays. No one ever cares like if the free to plays are going to uninstall.
Well, I mean, the reputation wise they do, but go on.
Yeah, when I say like it's performative, you know who exactly I'm talking about.
The lighter spenders?
Oh.
Like you gotta be specific. Which ones you talking about?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the actual like the spenders who are the spenders and more or less the content creators.
The thing is, the content creators. Okay. I need to be specific with my phrasing here, but the Hoyoverse content creators as a whole, they haven't been really like. Neither have they been hypocritical, nor have they been morally judgmental. but I think I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the ones that are still trying to preach morality to others after they have already uninstalled the game. That's
The
what you're
people
talking
who
about,
are
right?
the people who are known to make the biggest stink out of the bad situations and basically thrive off of that kind of clout.
Yeah. I... Yeah,
Like
those...
we've had issues with 3.0. Like 3.0 had a lot of issues that at least for me got cleaned up in 3.1.
I mean,
I can't wait.
I'm a be real. We need to be specific here and say the community had a lot of issues with 3.0 because I was just like, there's some minor issues, but I still loved it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's some minor issues, some things that yeah, it would definitely be a better if they were ironed out. It could have been a lot or done a lot better. But then there's people that literally make an entire fucking stink out of it.
They're talking about the one person that when 3.0 was done, they literally just ended stream.
It's like I understand trying to get a big voice to like. There's nothing wrong with shouting your voice towards the company, saying, "Please fix this. Please make this better." No one's saying you cannot criticize the company. We've actually criticized it a lot.
Yeah, especially over the global passive.
But there is definitely a point to where people can tell when you're disingenuous.
Yeah, basically. Although it's it's funny I brought up that example because I remember when I beat Sonic Forces, and I kind of did it for a bit, but it was also how I genuinely felt when I beat Sonic Forces. I on stream uninstalled the game. I'm like, I do not want to touch that again. That was the most boring Sonic game I've ever played. But yeah.
I have seen worse when it comes to Sonic Forces, like literally demanding a refund on stream.
Yeah, because of how Steam's refund thing works.
Yeah, literally playing through the entire game, still having less hours than needed for the refund, and then demanding a refund. That actually happened.
I mean, I can't blame people for trying to take advantage of that. But
it apparently became like some huge like performative stink. But even then, like it's like there are like performative assholes who are just going to, or who are just going to take the worst shots out of a bad situation.
Yeah. And again, if you like Castorice, pull for her. You like her kit, you like her character, you like whatever. Just pull for her. And if people are gonna try to morally judge you, remind them that you're playing a fucking gacha game. And again, honestly, I'm gonna put this as my own perspective. I've liked Castorice since 3.0. We didn't know about her global passive back then. We only found out around February 21st. Well, 25th, I think. Somewhere around there. But I had been saving my jades, skipping characters, farming relic sets. All this shit. Basically doing everything for improving Castorice's performance. And when I found out about her global passive, sure, I was pissed. I knew it was going to hurt the reputation of the company. But I didn't think even for a moment, oh, I'm going to skip her to send a message. It's like, if I was going to skip fucking Castorice, it's like, at that point, I would just fucking uninstall. Because it's just like... Honestly, that may answer your whole thing, Lane, on why would people uninstall, because it's just like, at that point, if I'm skipping Castorice, it's basically be torture to play the game and not pull for a character when you know you can get them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now again, I don't think I would uninstall even if I made the... Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if I could not get Castorice and I had to wait until her banner was done, I don't think I would uninstall the game. I'd just be like, I can't touch the game, or otherwise I'd be tempted. So I guess there's an answer to that. But getting back to my point, why should I sacrifice my own personal enjoyment of the game just for the sake of sending a message to Hoyoverse that may not fucking matter in the end?
Pretty much, it's a gamble.
And especially a gamble that most likely won't work.
I mean, the main reason we know it probably won't work is because, again, they were more than likely getting backlash even before the official announcement was made. They had time. They had all the time in the fucking world to change that. And they didn't.
If anything, they've added UIs to show it's ready. They just kept adding to it. But yeah, I think... Did we get everything out we wanted to for the whole morality thing?
I think I did.
Okay, the next point of thing. This is losing Hoyoverse money.
Oh, yeah.
Like, flat out. Flat out. Like, they are... The global passive is them losing money. They don't gain anything from the choice of keeping it in. They honestly do not. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like, despite what we feel about people reacting to the global passive, at least towards the rest of the community, yeah, it's a fucking shitty global passive, and it's not going to do. There's no one literally saying, I wonder, should I get this game? Oh wait, they have a global passive? Well, sign me up.
The thing is, as well, the global passive for a revive everyone, it's like, you know, that might be useful in something like Tribe 9 where I'm actually dying. But the only time I die in this game is when I'm doing harder difficulties on Divergent Universe. With some rare exceptions for some of the newer enemies, I guess, but that's a... Okay, let me get into that. Because the global passive is supposed to appeal to people doing endgame and dying to, like, the endgame bosses and such. Except, there's a problem with that theory. People wanting the endgame to be better are wanting the HP inflation to get better. They want their characters buffs. Nobody was talking about extra protection against bosses. Nobody has an issue with that. We have plenty of abundance. We have plenty of sustain. So it's just like, who is this global passive for? Who is it supposed to appeal to compared to the amount of people that it pissed off? The room is yours, Lane.
Compared to the people that it pissed off?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, no one is actually coming in to actually, like, pull for the passive specifically. More than likely, it is just lost people who are like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, pretty much. And I wanna say something else, because I know someone is going to say, oh, these sales are going to do so well, and the global passive, they're gonna do more because Castorice sold so well. Let me make this very easy for you. If Hoyoverse takes away that people want more global passives because of how well Castorice sold, they're fucking stupid. Because Castorice, I feel I can say this for 95% of whatever revenue she gets. It is from how good her character is. It is how cool the fucking dragon is. It's how cool her animations are. Maybe her deathly aura skill, because that is pretty sick. It is from the advertisements they are doing for her, like, you remember that thing I showed you yesterday of, like, you can call Castorice?
Oh yeah, the dream speak phone.
The Dream Speak phone,
like,
and that thing was so fucking adorable.
so adorable. She just wants to have a normal schoolgirl life and have a cat instead of a dragon.
Yes.
Which actually one of the biggest things about Castorice for me is the fact that she really wants to touch animals, but she can't, so she has to touch stuffed animals.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, I want her to have a cat that she can just scuttle up with, right, Maki?
That's
Right.
probably why Remembrance MC will end up being her pet. Not in that way.
Or maybe in that way.
I mean, let's be real. I can very much see a situation where she's like, I haven't been able to hold people before. Can I please hold you for a while? And I can imagine her potentially being a little yandere, but she also would have enough awareness to make sure to not, like, disturb them. It's just, she needs a hug. She needs a hug so fucking bad.
So fucking bad.
Yeah, because the last hug she gave to someone was in their last moments. Oh yeah, another thing they're doing. I already said promotional, but gosh darn, those trailers are so good. And they
always
hit me
bring
in
their
the
A
fucking
game.
feels.
They always bring their A game to the ones that they know are going to, like, sell.
Yeah. But
Like, they did it for Acheron, they did it for Firefly, they did it for Herda.
yeah. By the way, before we continue, Lane, how well do you think Castorice's banner is going to do? Do you think it's going to be, like, the biggest record breaker? Unfortunately, I think it might.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's actually, like, given the circumstances, I actually don't think it's going to beat something like Firefly or Acheron.
It might. If only just because of how good of a character and how much promotion they're doing.
Yeah, but we also technically had that for those other two characters, and there wasn't a fucking walkout involved.
Yeah, let's get into another thing. You were talking about it earlier, but, the reason we think that, Hoyoverse lost money with the global passive is because, again, nobody is rolling for Castorice for the global passive, okay? Because that global passive, yeah, it helps endgame players, but endgame players don't care about that shit. Because their account is normally well developed. And another thing, and you touched on this a bit ago, people uninstalling. Yeah, there's been a significant amount of uninstalls from what I've heard. Like,
Yep.
even one of my friends I talked to, after they saw the global passive go live, they uninstalled. Because they're just like, I feel like Hoyoverse doesn't respect my time and will just keep power creeping. And the main complaint they had, my character that's good now, it won't be a year later, so what's the point?
I mean, isn't that just most gacha games in general?
No, honestly, no. Outside of FGO's, like, core supports that get updated every 2 to 3 years, you can still use your main DPS. Like, there's nothing stopping you from using a 4-star Salter against a boss fight. Because again, it's mainly the supports that carry that. And another example is Genshin. Hu Tao still very strong to this day. She's fallen off quite a bit, though.
I guess in some cases it's like it can be considered hit and miss with Star Rail.
No,
There are some.
I will. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to say, from the gachas I've played, Honkai Star Rail's power creep is definitely the fastest I've ever seen out of any gacha game.
Yeah, I guess I have a little bit of bias because my boy only got stronger the longer he's been out.
Well, still, we're talking. That's the thing. The supports in this game, with the exception of Sparkle in some instances, supports usually last a long time. Yeah, better supports come out, but they're still usable. When a DPS falls off, fucking pack it up until they get good supports that help them.
Sorry, Sela and Blade.
Now, Sela, I actually have seen people with a E0, S0 Sela, granted, was backed by really strong supports, but she was able to zero cycle. So, like I said, the supports carry the DPS very hard. I got off topic again.
Sorry, my bad.
Anyway. Yeah. You want to know what's gonna... Okay. I gotta make sure I phrase this right. All these morality people trying to get people to not pull for Castorice and not spend all that jazz. Those people don't even matter. Like, in the grand scheme of things, the people that are pulling for, like, one copy, maybe their light cone, that light spender, they're a drop in the bucket. They are barely a drop in the bucket. You want to know what does matter?
Leviathans.
Leviathans and the whales. And both Lane and I have seen a number of those type of people just quitting the game. Our friend was telling us the other day that someone they knew that, I don't know how they're able to afford this, but they basically E6'd S5'd every character. And they uninstalled because of the Castorice Global Passive. That is a huge revenue drop. And the thing is, there's probably a lot more Leviathans and whales out there that are probably feeling the same thing. Go ahead, Lane.
I'm gonna say, it was actually earlier today. I was watching a video about like mobile games and what they do for or like how they're kept in business. It was about those fake mobile ad games that you get.
Yeah, those.
Basically, they're saying an interesting statistic was on average 2% of the player base of a mobile game are whales, and it is those whales that keep the game going. So the one that they used had 10 million downloads, and if 2% of 10 million are whales, that's 2 million whales. And if those whales spend like $1,000 each, that's $2 billion.
Yeah, pretty fucking huge.
Yeah, so even the smallest percentage of the player base, if they are the whales that are actually uninstalling and no longer spending, that is a huge blow.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, they're the ones that are going to be able to hit Hoyo vs. Wallet the hardest with this. And honestly, like both you and I have said, Hoyoverse deserves it. Because I am almost certain whatever sales expectations they had for Castorice are going to be significantly lower just because of the global passive.
One thing I am wondering is I need to see how they actually gauge success when it comes to this, because it's like, is it based on the amount of money spent during that time or the amount of times the character's banner was pulled?
I think the way the gacha revenue
Shoot!
the gacha revenue charts work is it shows the amount made monthly, and I don't know how that monthly is calculated, but it is calculated. So yeah, we will basically have to wait till next month to see how well Castorice's banner does well. And I want to say this: everyone that wants to pull for Castorice, you want to pull as many copies for her, you want to pull for Lycone, go ahead, do it. Do whatever you want, your own personal enjoyment. But at the same time, I hope that this banner sells like shit. Now, you could call that a little contradictory to me spending, but it's just like, look, I love the character. I just love the character. But I still hope this banner sells like shit, just so Hoyoverse gets the message of, no more global passives. Because again, the global passive, it's self-sabotage. It is literally self-sabotage. Anything else you want to add, Lane?
I think we pretty much covered everything I would have said.
Yeah, there is one last thing. I was watching Toho Sniper talk about the global passive thing, and he brought up a good point. Okay, you're talking about these global like I'm paraphrasing him. You're talking about these global passive things like, oh, it's gonna be so bad for the health of the game. Buddy, how about how you basically have to pull for, like, he's using an example here, the meta supports in FGO, or otherwise your account is shit when it comes to 3-turn clearing. It's like, oh, you didn't pull Oberon? Oh, you didn't pull Vich? You didn't pull Castoria? Get fucked! And I have to admit, when I heard that, I'm like, what is worse when we really think about it, Lane? A support that basically a meta support that basically everyone needs, or I'm phrasing this badly. What is worse? Castorice's global passive, or if they were to start introducing these must-have meta supports like the equivalent of Oberon, Vich, Castoria, like in FGO, for example, because the closest we have to that is Ron May for Super Break, and even then,
we literally just got one for free.
Yeah, basically.
But I understand what you're coming from, but one of the main things about that is we have hindsight when it comes to FGO. It's like, oh, we can look back and see, oh wow, so this is actually like how it got bad, is that they started making these support characters that everyone needed to pull, and they started building the game around that. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are trying to put into HSR is the foresight. It's like, oh, now we have a global passive where it saves you from death. Are they going to alter the game to make you die a lot more? Are they going to add more global passives that are going to alter the game in that way? It's like, we've only had the one so far, and again, this is just launch day already. We don't know how the game is going to change based on the existence of this global passive.
I think the worst of the worst is, oh, you don't have that character? Block camera. That pisses me off the most. Wait, what are you talking about, Lyndon? Okay, there's one last thing I want to talk about, and this is coming purely from a business perspective. This is kind of putting ideas in Hoyoverse, but I'm sure they already have the idea. Why did they decide that the first global passive would be a revive for the anniversary character? Because I'm gonna just say, if I were a business person, I would have had the first global passive be Artoria with, like, some kind of, like, stat boost for your characters.
Honestly, I can only think of it as a lore implication. Because of Castorice herself.
I guess, but still,
like we got hit with the cliffhanger in the last patch. We knew that there was going to be something involving us dying.
Yeah. But still, from a business perspective, it kind of bothers the shit out of me that they thought, oh yeah, first global passive, let's have it be a revive. Were you wanting to say something, Lane?
I'm looking at what Lyndon's saying. Basically, if you don't have the character they're looking for in case most of their friends are asleep or away from the app, they leave you to the...
Are you talking about FGO specifically?
Honestly, that feels more like a Genshin thing. I don't know.
If you don't have the character they're looking for in case of most of their friends are asleep or away from the
app. How do you leave someone to the wolves in a game like FGO? Or even
I guess by not updating your supports.
But why wouldn't you do that? I mean, for FGO, you literally get rewarded for having, changing your supports.
Yup. But yeah. So I will say this, Lane. I do think that Castorice's sales are going to suffer because of the global passive.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say this as well. If the rumored Artoria for the Fate collab gets a global passive, it's not going to impact her sales nearly as much. And I'm almost certain of that. Would you agree there, Lane?
Oh, I'd heavily agree. I mean, it's fucking Artoria.
It's fucking Artoria. A collab character that may not get a rerun.
Still gonna be better than Aloy.
You will never let that go.
I'll never let Hoyo let that go.
That was the worst collab they did.
The worst collab ever.
They didn't even have a collab event. Not even a collab story.
Here, have Aloy.
Yeah. Even Honkai Impact 3rd, when it collabed with Genshin, it had a whole story-ass event. Those are like, okay, so Lyndon was talking about FGO.
You mean when they had a collab event with Starvale?
Oh yeah, the Starvale event was really good as well.
Wait, they had a Genshin one too?
Yeah, they had a Genshin one.
Oh right, Fischl.
Yeah, that's how Fischl got into the game.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've actually looked at Impact 3rd aside from our event.
Yeah. But yeah, Artoria. Okay, this might be a bit of a controversial question. Do you think actually, like, we already discussed that Castorice having a global passive hurts sales? Do you think it's the opposite if Artoria has, like, an attack global passive? Do you think that actually increases sales?
Probably not. The passive itself would not increase sales because, let's face it, there would be way too much of a tinge from the current state of things, where people would be like, "Oh, hey, another global passive," and they would just log off at that point.
Fair enough, but I think a lot of people would find it hard to resist going for Artoria because she's a one-time thing. But yeah, I see your point.
The issue, Don, is would the global passive give them more roles, or would it take it away? It would definitely take it away.
I guess so.
It wouldn't impact it nearly as much as something like Castorice, because again, it's Artoria.
Yeah.
But like in the net of things, it's going to take away.
That is another thing. This will probably be the last thing before I hit end recording on this. Honestly, this is me predicting Hoya versus banner sales going forward. I think Castorice is going to be sell very well, unfortunately. The Fate collab is going to sell very well. And then I think basically every banner that isn't like some major celebration, because of this Castorice global passive situation, their revenue is going to drop worse and worse over time. I'm almost certain of that. Like, again, Castorice gonna sell well. All the stuff in between until the Fate collab, sales are gonna go down significantly. Fate collab, gonna be amazing. Everything after that, other than when Cyrene/Elysia releases, I'm basically saying that Castorice really, really hurt. Well, not Castorice. The global passive is really gonna hurt their sales going forward. It might get short-term success with Castorice now, but they're gonna see the long-term effects of the amount of people that left the game because of the global passives. May not see it now, but they will see it later. Would you agree, Lane?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
I hope Poyo actually does learn from this whole global passive thing. They're probably not going to see the money that they thought they were going to see initially. And, I mean, from what I understand, it's not just us in the West that are upset about it, so hopefully they actually will listen.
To give you a bit of perspective, I looked at the gacha revenue charts for global and China for last month for Honkai Star Rail. People in China were pissed enough that global actually spent more than China for once.
So basically, global is separate from China itself.
Yeah. Like, China is usually their biggest profit.
Yeah, if that's going to be their biggest hit, then yeah, I'm hoping that they learn from this.
I hope so too. And honestly, I really feel like the easiest thing they could do is just, they say, we've seen the backlash, we've seen people don't like this, we're taking away this ability, here's a free Castorice and 3 multis. Because, let's be real, this is an anniversary event, you gotta do something big if you're gonna take away something like that. Gotta be very, quote-unquote, generous.
I'm actually now excited for 3 months from now when we get the ZZZ event, or anniversary event.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Honkai Star Rail team, learn from ZZZ! They're doing basically everything right, except their events. They're Their events are very much hit and miss.
Feeling deja vu because I'm pretty sure we've said this to Genshin before about Star Rail.
What do you mean?
It's like Genshin could learn a thing or two from Star Rail, or in the immortal words of last year, Genshin could never.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're able to say that again at some point. It's just... Yeah, there is one last thing we want to get out. Why couldn't you just not do the global passive? And then everything about the anniversary would be great!
Literally, you could give her the ability, just not make it global, and I don't think anyone would have an issue with it.
Exactly. It's just so dumb.
The only issue are Bailu lovers who would find their beloved lolly dead in a ditch.
It's actually funny that Bailu actually doesn't do that bad on a Castorice team. Like, obviously, there are ones better, but yeah, she performed actually pretty decently because of the whole max HP thing.
Won't lie, while I was at work finishing up, I did watch the Braxophone Castorice video that he put out earlier.
That's something we can talk about in a bit, because this recording has gone on for 51 minutes, and I'm basically going to upload the thing as it is. Anything else you want to get out?
Pretty much we got all of it out.
Yeah, so, yeah. People, be nice to people that just want to pull for Castorice, and don't take your anger out on people that just want to enjoy the game. If anything, take your anger out on Hoyoverse, okay? They're the ones that legitimately deserve the hate. No death threats, okay? We don't condone death threats or any of that type of shit.
Never condone.
We never condone that.
Death threats.
It's like, you want to uninstall the game or whatever, you want to protest in whatever way you want, you do you. Just don't ruin other people's enjoyment, because people play gachas to escape from how shitty the world is out there.
And even then, some gachas, you can't escape that because the voice. I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that. Okay, I think I'm going to end the recording. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, people. And if you want to see my Castorice rolls, there will probably be a video of that later. And if you wanted to see me testing Castorice, there might be a video for that, or I'll link the live stream. Bye-bye!